Hello, hello, hello. Hey everybody, welcome back to Crypto Traders Arena. Starting just a couple minutes early, I guess, today, just because I was watching this FOMC announcement. I figured I'd front run them so they don't kill my ratings. Not that anybody's actually watching right now. Pretty slow day. But here we are. I guess Forex Factory's got 14 seconds left till this interest rate decision, which I imagine is going to be no change, but we'll see here. And yeah, I didn't have anybody really waiting for me to start today, so I guess people aren't piled up listening to hear my all the value I'm about to drop on everybody. Let's see what yeah, so no change in the interest rates it looks like here on the FOMC according to Forex Factory, which isn't a huge surprise, and if anything it'd be a shock that they would have actually cut rates. So I don't know about this whole anticipated 3 rate cuts this year. Probably not going to happen. Stock market's making new highs basically to this day, and I don't think they're going to be cutting rates anytime soon, which is cool with me. Got some pretty okay interest rate on a savings account right now, about 5%, so that's probably good for the time being. And probably could go out and just keep trading crypto here, although right at the moment crypto's kind of rolling over, I suppose. So it's a good time to get our bids working. Wow, I'm not even sure there's anyone watching. Am I even streaming? Usually I got a couple regulars hanging out with me, but nonetheless, I'm back here every Wednesday. My Romanian captors forced me to talk on YouTube once a week at this time, so I'm sure everybody's more interested in the FOMC today, I guess. Even the crypto heads want to watch Jerome Powell, which I actually do have pulled up. I wonder how much trouble I'll get in if I restream Jerome Powell on YouTube. But I don't personally really care what he has to say. I suppose everybody's kind of waiting to see if he comes out overly hawkish or not. I mean, it's not a huge surprise they didn't cut. Like I said, I don't see how they would have cut interest rates today. But is what it is. I'll probably not let this play. If anybody wants to keep me updated on what he says, that sounds cool, but I'll probably get in trouble for I don't know, restreaming. What happens? Does that create some sort of like wild vortex when if you restream something on YouTube, you kind of interdimensional fuckery is going to happen if I do that. How about somebody say something in the chat just so I know if I'm even talking to anybody? Am I even live right now? Am I even alive right now? Well, perhaps not. Well, even if nobody's listening, I'm still going to do my same spiel. Maybe keep it a little shorter today, but definitely have a lot of bids that I'm trying to put in here on crypto. Oh, hello. Hey, Octavian. So somebody's listening. Pretty slow, I suppose. Hell, I'm barely paying attention today myself. I was in the New York meeting for about half the time, and then I just took off and went and took a walk with a friend. And I don't know. I don't usually scalp. I do like to trade futures on FOMC days. I just don't even bother usually. I think that's fair. And even crypto might not be that affected by it, but at the same time, it's never a bad day to just leave it be if you're a day trader. I did take one of Paul's trades, so I guess I got that going on this pixel here. So bought his classic Paul W here. So it looks like that trade's doing okay. So I'm in that on, I guess, crypto. In crypto, that's sort of a 4-hour chart, kind of swing trade-ish trade anyway, not even day trading. But point being is I'm working some bids in crypto. I think we might be getting the dip that we were looking for a while here. I suppose you never know when that's going to come in exactly, but maybe really quick, I'll just, before I get into that, I will just take a look at Bitcoin really quick and maybe some of the bigger names, and just say real quick on Bitcoin. I mean, this isn't the break out of the range that we would hope for if we're bulls. Kind of looking pretty shitty in terms of getting outside the range. This is looking kind of like a big FU at the moment, right? A couple weeks back, we had a close right at the all-time high. That didn't look so bad heading into last week. Pretty big green candle for the first part of the week, and then ultimately closed below the all-time high. And then this week, while we are getting bought up a little bit here now, this is 3-bar fractal looking, right? So kind of toppy looking at the moment. Of course, the 3-bar fractal won't actually confirm until we lose this low at 60,900 heading into next week and the open on Monday or Sunday night, depending on where you are in the world. So, not the nicest looking candle, or topping not the most bullish looking last couple weeks. Let's leave it at that. However, I think the key here is, are you a bull in the bigger picture or not? I think now is the time to get your conviction straight. Mine's pretty much a buy the dip, the same as usual. I'm not really changing anything about this. I'm looking for the dip. I actually have plenty of dry powder to go out and buy, so I want to buy altcoins. I'm not really that interested in buying Bitcoin per se. I like my hodl where it's at. But I suppose if Bitcoin can come all the way down to 37,000, then I could consider buying. But, the reality is here right now. Hopefully you're not chasing these markets. If you did, you're probably going to get run over a bit. I hate to say it. But if you're up here buying Bitcoin at the all-time highs, you might have to take some heat here. And same with all these high-flying altcoins too. If you're buying those at the all-time highs, you're probably in for a little bit of storm you're going to have to weather. Hopefully you're not in that situation. Hopefully you're actually buying at the lows over the last year and maybe you took some profit off the table. And so now you've got some extra dry powder to go and spend if we get the dip that we're looking for. But point being is I'm very much into buying the dip here. I'm a bull. I think the bottom is in. The funny thing is I just like to see a bigger dip than probably crypto Twitter considers a dip. So like I definitely want to buy the dip, but I'm not talked about buying Bitcoin right here. This isn't enough of a dip. If anything, I want to see altcoins get crushed. I'd like to see Bitcoin come off maybe all the way to 38.2, 51,000. Could easily see that. I think, Octavian, what you're saying, the thing is, I wonder if we dip now, what would really happen at halving? Well, keep in mind that we usually dip into the halving. So, or I shouldn't say usually. It's not uncommon. I mean, let's pull up my halving chart for fun. This is my hell, go make this chart yourself if you're interested in. I found some Bitcoin halving indicator on TradingView that outlined these three, and then the next one is slated for April, I guess. But like the months of the halving have been red months, the last two. And the months before were, there was a dip, but 2 times ago there was this dip into the halving, and then COVID dipped a few months before the halving, and there was a red doji on the halving. You kind of see how we're almost setting up a very similar scenario with this monthly candle looking pretty ugly here. That's like a shooting star. I don't know what you call that. Ugly looking candle that could turn red by the end of the month here. We have 10 days left, 11 days left in the month. Easily could see that turning red, and maybe we just get the dip that we want right into this. And it doesn't have, if you zoom out and think about it in context, even if we dipped all the way down into this high here, what's that? 48,990. That's like that 38.2 tag that I was just looking at on the other chart. Even a big red candle, like say we even finish the month red and then the next month just dip right into that level and find support there at a 50 right into the halving. Does that really change the trend of Bitcoin at all? I don't think so. I think it's still very much in an uptrend. So could easily see that happen. 32K in May is what Octavian's saying. Okay, fine. Like, well, let's go. Point being, we could easily dip here into the next couple months into the halving. That wouldn't be that strange. Kind of like this one back here. You could see how the similar thing happened. They put in like a inside bar, failed that right into the halving month. And if you kind of drew reload zones off of this range, you'd see that's probably in a short reload zone. So not a huge surprise that there was that kind of reaction, probably right up into like 78.6 or so. And then on the other side of the halving, I don't think there's any reason to think something like this won't happen. So getting back to my bullish conviction, I think that the bottom is in. So I'm not really looking for Bitcoin to lose the 16,000 lows or anything. I mean, who knows how deep we dip? That's not what I'm not making a call on that. I'm just saying I'm gonna buy the dip. I just like to buy reload zones. So that means Bitcoin's sort of off the table right now. It has to come back quite a bit to get into reload zones. But like I said, I'm not really trying to buy Bitcoin per se. I'm more interested in buying altcoins, new altcoins, whatever is going to be the nice new fancy thing. And just sort of Bitcoin dipping, like, if Bitcoin coming off 20, 30% more or more even is going to create that buying scenario for altcoins. And I think a good majority of altcoins will hold the lows and some won't. But I don't know, something like Solana, probably not making a new low in this cycle. My guess. We'll see. And so I suppose you just got to be the kind of person, like, I don't know, I'm sure the panic is setting in for top buyers here, and that's probably what we should expect to happen. Like if, again, Bitcoin doesn't look particularly great right here. I mean, there's no reason why it couldn't turn around and just keep churning higher, but this is a pretty ugly looking pattern here right at the all-time highs. And 38.2s could be tested at any time. That's 51,000. This is a big giant fair value gap. If anything, like, the chances of them at least dipping it past 59 here into that fair value gap seems pretty likely. And that gap comes all the way back down to 38.2 practically. So that's a big fair value gap right there. So, I mean, I don't know. I could easily see Bitcoin coming. I mean, geez, there's barely even been a pullback in Bitcoin, to be fair, this whole run. I could see it working its way back down here. Or maybe we even range inside of like 38.2s at 51,000 and just kind of bounce around in here for a while. And that'll set up a really nice bottom for altcoins. So that's what I'm looking to do. But long story short, like, I mean, we could look at some indicators on our, like RSI isn't in divergence, but it's starting to break. OBV's not broken, but it's just sort of pointing down this week. So really there's no like, I don't think you could really say Bitcoin's broken here on a weekly basis. It's just a healthy pullback would be totally reasonable. Of course, you can't really start being a bear until we start getting through 38.2 and start breaking down. That's the irony. Is like, sure, we might have, that's a big move down, but I don't think you can start calling bear markets. I don't think like, where does this uptrend cease to be an uptrend? That would be like like, typically an uptrend's higher highs and higher lows. We have a key low right here. So in terms of true market structure break, you'd have to get all the way below this low, which is just right into the reload zone. But I mean, even then, that would just be what they call a market structure shift or something on a weekly chart. That would just be actually taking out the last higher low. It's way down here. So I don't think this cycle is over. I think it's just getting started. And so you kind of have to decide for yourself, like, how bullish are you? Or not? I was probably getting sidetracked already, but I was going to say the panic is probably setting in for some people. And I'm sure that, like, yeah, if you bought the top here, then you're going to be feeling it pretty hard as we pull back to 51. But if you didn't buy the top, if you're long off the lows, or maybe you've made some money here over the last year, then you really shouldn't be freaking out right now. I don't think that's the right approach. And honestly, everything's just been kind of playing along nicely. Like, I think that we're just heading into a bull market. Like, I don't really see anything to say otherwise. The only thing that didn't happen that well is now we kind of have like a triple top sort of thing. I don't really love how It's kind of unfortunate that Bitcoin decided to break down right at the all-time high. It would have been nicer to actually even see it just back here break down and backfill a bit or something. The fact that we went parabolic so early, that's probably the only that's the only sort of negative in this whole thing. Otherwise, I think that we're just cranking along just like we kind of expected would happen all through last year was the accumulation bottom. Then we had we had like a mini altcoin season way back in like the beginning of January 2023. We had like the first little altcoin rally. Then things came back down, and then we had like the end of the year rally, which is kind of continued on until like recently. So that sounds like a bottoming kind of year. Those rallies, most of them were just kind of up like 1 or 200% and back down, and then there was like the handful of like renders and stuff and Solanas and stuff that really ripped. But the broader market kind of just sort of stayed inside of a pretty volatile range, you could say. But it was not like it's not like the entire market went 10x or anything, although certainly plenty of names have. But point being is like that's kind of what I would expect in a bottoming year, and then of course this year is sort of like the bull market starting. I don't think anything's. I don't see any reason to not be a bull. Let's just leave it at that. Like, I mean, this is the only thing that's not super desirable is how Bitcoin went parabolic here already. But I have a whole list of altcoins that I could show you why I think the bottom's in. And the keyword is just weekly W's. Let's just read Octavian your comments. I think you might be I don't know if you're the only person watching right now. Let's see what you're saying though. 38.2 is bullish. Yeah, I mean, yeah. If we find support in this gold box, then we're just a bull. The bull is still intact. Like any kind of W down here, and then I would just assume we're gonna keep cranking higher. It's just funny how Bitcoin. I mean, how much did Bitcoin dip already? It dipped down about 17%, and then now it's only about 12% off the low, off the highs. So I mean, it's not like it's been even that big of a dip. How crypto 30% at any moment could happen. I mean, that's 38.2 would be a 30% dip from the high. That's super reasonable. That could happen, no problem. Just filling that fair value gap about 28%. That's a nice sizable dip that would that's not like outlandish. Now, to be fair, like we might come all the way back down to relid zones. It wouldn't be the first time. So I'm not saying that won't happen. I'm just saying that I don't see any reason why I wouldn't be trying to load up on altcoins when that dip happens. So I'm going to just stick to my plan. I'm going to keep buying essentially, which is what I was going to get into now actually anyway. I mean, I was going to talk about some of these things first, but I never know exactly how to approach these things. I mean, that's enough about Bitcoin. It's not, it just is what it is. It looks kind of 3-bar fractalish. We got denied at the range highs here. Now we have kind of a triple top kind of thing. That's not super awesome, but nonetheless, the trend's still up. Weekly chart's not really broken. If you start zooming down, daily chart, there's like more divergences on RSI and stuff. Clearly looking a little bit rolled over at the moment, but same with Ethereum. Ethereum hit 78.6, got swiftly rejected, and took a pretty big punch in the nose right at, and also parabolic. And 38.2 is $2,800 on Ethereum. Easily could hit that area. Mountain Man's 2,100. Easily could hit that. I don't know. I mean, Ethereum is funny too. Like, I mean, look where Mountain Man is now. That's like that key range high support. This is the old range high, and that's just a giant W with another W. I mean, that's a bottom. That's the bottom, I think. I might be wrong, but I think that's the bottom. So if we do manage to get into this green box, I bet you there's a lot of support down here. And if you're lucky enough to buy Ethereum at $2,100, I think you could probably bang a 5x out down the road. Who knows? Seems like Ethereum will probably hit 10K someday. Now, I'm not saying that with any sort of guarantee. It just seems like that's likely. I don't know. And if you're to, I guess what I was kind of getting at is, I don't know, opportunities to buy Ethereum at $2,100 for new people to crypto. That's a nice area to start thinking about it. I don't think you should buy Ethereum up here at 33 unless you want to take a 30% haircut first. And also maybe more. Maybe we come farther down. But only point here is, I mean, there's got to be some support here. I don't know. It's kind of looks like it to me. And that's Ethereum. I mean, I'm also not I'm not even that excited about Ethereum, me personally. I want to buy the things that have like way more upside, like the new shiny things that might maybe even do like 100x's and stuff like that. And I could show you a lot of altcoins that seem like they could easily dip into the kind of levels I want. Like, I mean, to be so, you know, just to basically, well, just to be clear, I like to buy in green boxes. I'm not buying anywhere but this green box or below. That's just pretty much my plan. So I'm not going to buy Bitcoin or Ethereum up in this gold box. Now, of course, you could trade it, and maybe this is a sign of trend continuation. If we get down into the gold box and start Wing out and stuff, then yeah, that just suggests that the trend is still up, and swing trading longs out of here seems like a reasonable idea. But if I'm just talking about investment trades all across the board, every investment purchase I make going forward is going to have to be in a green box or below. And as I start showing some altcoins here in a minute, I'll clarify that. But anyway, that's Bitcoin and Ethereum. Ethereum, Bitcoin versus Bitcoin, I just think, you know, this W never came in. We talked about maybe Ethereum bottoming and against Bitcoin, and that never happened. And now it's still just working its way down this trend line. And I think also green boxes are sort of like, I kind of feel like a W needs to come in down here for alt season to pick up again. So that's like one good way to, like, you know, let's just let everything roll over right now. Looks like it might let everything kind of roll over. And then when Ethereum versus Bitcoin finally gets down here and maybe starts Wing out, then that's probably when we'll start seeing a lot more fills on the bids I'm about to show you here in a minute on altcoins. But point being, this doesn't look particularly bottomed right here. I mean, I think I've said a lot that I feel like this green box will get hit. And even though it was starting to look a little better through here, we never really got a W to suggest Ethereum was going to break out against Bitcoin. And actually, OBV is still trending down on this too. So like, it's not bottomed yet. There is a bullish divergence in RSI, but I don't think that's a bottom yet. What happens if ETH ETF gets denied? I don't know. I don't know if it really matters. I mean, it's not going to be great for Ethereum in the short term, but in the bigger picture, I don't know. The Bitcoin ETFs are all firing now. Probably won't deny the Ethereum one. That's a weird way of saying Ethereum. Ethereum. I don't know. I'm not the best person. I have a tendency to just not care about those kind of things. I don't know. Like, I think that the broader cycle for crypto is still just in play. Maybe the Ethereum ETF gets denied and there's like a short-term shock in the market, but again, like even just looking at this chart, I like to buy green boxes. I think the bottom's in. This green box is the next buy opportunity. So like if you want to change out your Bitcoin for Ethereum, the place to do it's down here in this green box. That's about the extent of my analysis. I don't claim to be the best macro analyst, but I do claim to be a good buyer of green boxes. So I'm just going to stick to that. I don't know. Maybe I'll end up being wrong, and that's okay too. Like if a year from now, maybe I spend the next year just highlighting these bids that I'm going to be working on altcoins, like I'm going to do it here in a minute, and maybe I get filled on all of those, and then the bottom drops out and altcoins go to zero. Then I'll just be wrong. Fuck it. I don't care. It won't be fun. That'll suck. But like, I'm not trying to be right here. I'm just trying to stick to my guns and not really change my game plan here. and just my game plan's simple. When I start seeing, and I said this even like a year ago, I was saying this, like over time, you'll start to see that there will be most of the altcoin market will have weekly W's. And at that point, that'll be the time that the market's ready to transition from like this like accumulation bottom of last year into the bull market. And now I think you can actually start going and finding maybe I don't know how to calculate, like there's probably at least half of the altcoins have weekly W's. I don't know. And so I'm just going to stick to that. And then, like I've said a lot too over the last 6 months, is now that the weekly W's are in, any pullbacks against that weekly W breakout level is a viable opportunity. And so, I mean, I'm just going to stick to that. Like one I was just looking at a minute ago is like the CVX would be an example. I guess I'll just skip right to these. I don't know. That was like my macro analysis. I skipped over I mean, I didn't really talk about total market cap, but I mean, I don't know. I was going to look at Bitcoin dominance, not really total, but I just had I pulled up this list just because it had some of the bigger things. I mean, the stock market's pushing higher. I bet you, it doesn't even look like there's that big of a reaction on the news here. Like, let's look at a 1 minute chart on the SPY. It looks like they pumped the market right on the news a little bit here. So, I mean, whatever. I'll just get into the altcoins though. That's because I'm honestly, I mean, maybe I did a bad job of making my point, but really my point here is I'm a bull. I'm a buy the dip bull. I like bigger dips than people might think is a normal dip. Like I'm willing to accept that dips all the way down into green boxes are likely. That's probably more of a dip than like people on Twitter might think of. But nonetheless, I'm still a bull. Like if prices get down to those green boxes, I'm going to buy all the altcoins that I'm going to show you today and over the next few weeks. And I think that if you don't have your bids working, you're going to miss it. So I don't know. That's all I can say. So perfect examples would be like, I mean, I was just thinking of this CVX because I was looking at it earlier. Now, to be fair, I'm reloading on a lot of these. I've banged out doubles on many of these. And so to me, it's just, maybe it's easier to step back in and buy back. I don't know. I don't know if it makes that big a difference, but let's look at this on Binance actually, just because it's a little bit more clean of a chart than Kraken. But I'm not even going to look at any indicators. There's the weekly W. You can see they already retested it once. Strong bounce off of there. This is the first buy opportunity for me. Buying just, basically last time. The green box was down here. Got nice tests to 78.6, even 88.6. And that produced a double. Now, obviously, very much a 3-bar fractal. This thing fell apart here and has already touched Mountain Man, already got down to 61.8, which basically my approach going forward, I thought about this a lot over the last day, is I'm going to take a nibble at Mountain Man because I'm a little more aggressive. Like I think 61.8 is the aggressive level for these going forward, but I'm basically just going to, like I said, I have dry powder I want to put into the market. I'm going to take my shot at 61.8 and I'm going to have a bid at 78.6. So almost every one of these, I'm going to say the same thing. I'm basically just going to hit, especially when there's already a W like this, I'm just going to hit 61.8 and 78.6 of this, of all of these. And so if I were to be asked what a bottom looks like, I would say this looks like a bottom. I mean, this one's sort of power 3-ish, actually. I think I saw Octavian saying something about power 3 on ETH BTC. And yeah, that did, if we do get into that reload zone on ETH BTC, that would look like a power 3. But this is very much already a power 3. Like we had equal lows back here and a W back into the range. And I suppose we should expect moves way higher down the road, which is what I expect, but not even getting into that. I'm not going to complicate things. Sure, we made a new low here. We took out these equal lows and then put the W in, and now I just see a W, I see a bigger W, and I see a pullback into green boxes, and I didn't buy 61.8 here because I was a little late. But I don't see any reason why. I won't still get filled there. And on this one in particular, I might just put my bid at that W level too instead of 78.6. But point being, I'm going to be working my bids around 61.8, 78.6. And like maybe the bottom, maybe we lose the lows here in a big Bitcoin dip. And I'm all right with that. Maybe I end up averaged in about $3.20 somewhere right there. Maybe we come all the way down to $2 before it turns around. Nonetheless, I think I could still bang another double out at 640 or something down the road. And I also think that this thing has, the kind of upside that might take us all the way up to like even just say 38.2s. So like, what was that? Say I get averaged in around here and this thing goes, that's 700% to 38.2. So these are the kind of trades I don't know. This is my approach going forward. It doesn't matter. Almost any of these coins, I could pick any of these. Some of these I don't have because in this particular list, some of these are like Binance and stuff, names that I don't have easy access to. So I'll go to my list over here and these are just the ones today that I worked bids on. So all of these, CVX is the one I just talked about. So I have bids working on all of these. Is that true? Yeah, all of these. Some of these, well, that's not, some of these I don't have bids working on, and some of them I'm long already. But let's just look at some of these, like comp, 1-inch SNX. Let's see. Comp was right below here. Uglier chart than CVX, but there's a weekly W working right there. Kind of like also sort of power 3-ish, take out the equal lows here and, FU that low. To be fair, this one's a little uglier of a bottom, but I still like that weekly W. You can see I've already drawn my fibs and I got my green box, and I'm just, basically anywhere around that level is fine with me, 50, 65. So like I said, I have bids at 61.8 and 78.6. That's my approach for right now. And no different for comp. So I'm just, this is the same as, well, they're all going to look just like this. So it's not really that exciting. What can I say? 1-inch is, I think 1-inch is a nicer looking chart than comp, but, and to be fair, like I said, I am reloading on a lot of these, like 1-inch. I already got a double on. And I suppose I like looking at the Binance charts, but my bid's actually on, where's my bid on this one? Kraken. Well, before, I'll go look at that chart in a minute here, but before that, you can see the weekly W down here below 78.6. So yeah, this one, I think that level will likely get tested, but nonetheless, I'm still going to just, I'm going to hit 60. Now, I'm not saying everybody should do this, by the way. I'm just saying I like to buy reload zones. I think that 61.8 is the more aggressive version of buying reload zones. And I'm willing to do that now, whereas I wasn't doing that so much, in the past over the last year. But basically, I kind of think, well, there's a chance they might turn it off Mountain Man and never look back. So I want to try to get long on these. I'm not really saying other people should do what I do. I'm not even saying I won't go massively underwater here. If I buy at 39 cents and I, take a 50% haircut and we come down to 20 cents and actually take this low out, I'm all right with that. So I can't tell you guys what to do. But that's just what so my basic plan is to buy 61.8 and 78.6. Hell, I can just show you what I've already been, we have our invest ideas, Discord. You can see I got FXS bidding at 61.8, 78.6, SNX bidding at 61.8, 78.6, Zen 61.8, 78.6. So, I mean, this is what I'm doing. You know, this is in the premium group, but it looks like I'm the only one posting. Tia is a little different, but it's a newer name. But yeah, I'm still same idea, buying in the green box of Tia. God, is anybody else posting in here? I know Leon is. Him and I. So anyway, I don't know. Maybe it's not that exciting. I don't even know what I'm doing here. I'm just telling you guys, I guess, what I'm up to. CZ meet is done, and now we want trader ideas from Kevin. Was CZ? Are you saying? I'm blind. C2? I don't know if that's a FOMC. Oh, Alex wants to look at EWT. We can look at that one. Hey, Andre. Hey, Michael. Hey, Paul. So people did show up, I guess. God, yeah, this is all I got is all I can really do is show you guys what I'm gonna bid on. I don't know. That seems like about the only thing worth talking about in my opinion, but I guess it gets kind of old and maybe it sounds boring, but I'm just gonna again just not really lose focus of what I'm trying to do here and not get too caught up in all the details. I don't know. I'm not saying that I have the best approach. I just kind of know what sort of works, what has a tendency to work, and I'm not afraid to be wrong per se. I don't know if I'm wrong. I don't actually even care that much. I mean, I want to make money, of course, but I don't really care about money that much. What can I say? I just want to make enough, and I know this kind of works. If I'm wrong, fuck it, I'll be wrong, and we'll just reset the stage for the next bottom that comes in. The difference between me and a lot of people is I'm relatively conservative. I'm not like, I don't know. I'm not like, it's not going to kill me if this doesn't work. And I'm just going to keep it simple. I know that the weekly W's are in on a lot of these, like 1 inch right here. It has a nice weekly W. It's just a small little one. Had a nice up move. As it pulls down into reload zones, I'm going to just start my nibbling again. And, like I said, I'll buy 61.8 and 78.6, and I'll try to leave room to potentially add on a W later or add on a test at lower levels. And I'm just going to try to spend the dry powder I have, and I think it has a pretty good chance of working out down the road, heading into the rest of this year and next year. So I'm just going to leave it at that. And all I can do after that is just show you one after the other. I mean, like I said, I just today, I got a lot of work to do to put my bids in, but I got, I've done 3, so we'll go to S and X next. Same thing. I mean, this is a beautiful looking bottom. I don't know. All I can say is that's exactly what bottoms look like. And you can see the dip coming. It's like, we have a 3-bar fractal here that's going to confirm into the next week, potentially. We have nice wide. I mean, I prefer a chart like this, to be fair, than like comp. Like going back to comp, this one's not, I mean, it's still a nice sideways consolidation, but it wasn't like a beautiful W, like this one. I mean, SNX looks perfect to me. I don't know, like you can see I already have my fibs drawn. Nice bottoming looking pattern here. Easily see how a dip into the green box is likely. Like that's not that far. That's 370 down into like what is that, 290? Which is just a dip into the W. I mean, there's this nice wide W here. There's this W. There's a couple of them. So I'm just going to hit those levels on that one too. Gods. This one I've been trying to get filled on forever, so I didn't just work my bids on this one today. This one, Gods Unchained. I've had my bids on this one since before it even made a new high. So yeah, this one, I could update if I wanted, actually, because now the fibs are slightly different. But you can see the same idea. I have 3 bids on this one. Nice W. Just looking for, I'm almost got filled on Mountain Man here, which would have probably given me a double. Yeah, it looks like they bounced it above Mountain Man and then doubled it. And now it's coming down into green boxes, hopefully. And remember, like, if Bitcoin comes off to 38.2, 51,000, this thing will probably come down in here. So don't chase it right here thinking it'll never come down here. I don't know. Nice W here, and that's just another green box I want to buy. What's next? Request. And to be fair, I got doubles on most of these. Not gods. I don't even have any of that one. And not comp. I am long comp, but I don't think I got my double on comp. Anyway, what's my point? Request network. REQ. Where's my actual chart here? See, I mean, like, I was just in here buying against the lows on this one, banged a double out. Now it's rolling back over. You can see my 2 lighter green lines are my new bids, my second cars. I already got filled, actually, on this one when it came down into Mountain Man. So I've already reloaded on this one, and my fibs now could be adjusted if I wanted. So I have, I could, it doesn't change 78.6 very much. I was a little bit above 78.6. Now I'm a little bit below. This one, kind of a head and shoulders looking bottom. Not exactly what I would call a beautiful weekly W, but nonetheless, I'm already long and happy to reload. This one, I suppose if I was going to rate them, this one doesn't rate as nice as like that S and X. But it is what it is. These are just the ones I happen to have on my list at the moment. So yeah, I mean, this still looks very bottom to me, though. It looks like a head and shoulders. Like the head and shoulders is in and now confirmed. And there is a weekly W. It's just kind of ugly. It's just this weird sort of steep one. That's not exactly like ideal, but man, I don't know how to... I just think that this looks like a bottom to me in general, and I'm willing to take my shot against the lows looking for higher. And again, I don't know if I have to draw 38.2s on all of these off the highs, but just using 38.2 as my conservative target, that's 50 cents. And I'm looking to buy down here at what, like 10? So it's like a 5x back to the 38.2s. And I mean, I don't know, like maybe this thing just goes to new lows, but maybe it doesn't. What's next? NMR. NMR is an old favorite of mine. Numerai. I think it's an early AI. I don't know if it's technically... I mean, it is like some sort of AI trading algorithm thing. I don't remember exactly, but... I mean, these are setting up exactly... They're just... You can see the dips coming. I mean... And they're also like V-tops, by the way. They're not M's. So like the fact that they're going to be V-tops on a lot of these are just even more, what would I say? Well, it's just more confirmation to me that these V-tops will then be tested down later on down the road, as opposed to like M-tops. But this one, I have my real chart, I guess, on Coinbase. Looks like I have a bunch of random lines on here from whatever discussions with probably these shows or Capio One. But looks like I also, that's going back to there. That was my old purchase. The, basically just in here buying 78.6s last time around. Banked one double out. I don't think I sold on my second double here, actually. I could have. But point being, Maybe I actually haven't worked my bids on this one yet, but I'm gonna. Can't remember. Maybe I'm getting a little confused here. Did I actually? I'm trying to keep this list. This is sort of like my list for the show, but well, I said I put my bid in, so maybe I put it on Kraken. I did what? No, it should be on Coinbase, but nonetheless, maybe I drew it on a different chart. I don't know, but nonetheless, you can see. Now this one's funny because like my double level now is 61.8, but honestly, like I'm okay with that's kind of a weird thing. It's like I'm basically gonna be buying back right where I sold on a double, but I kind of think of them as two different trades. That was my free coins from the first one, and if I'm willing to put it on another car here, I'll just go and hit 61.8, which is essentially this. There's two W's in here, big. Well, there's three technically. There's big old W's in here. Then there's this one, and 61.786 in general is where my bids are going. This one doesn't have as much upside as well, this is Coinbase. That's why this thing has a lot of upside. Well, actually, let's see. When's that? That's 2020. This thing's way older than that. I don't know about way older, but wow, is Bittrex still open? Bittrex goes back to 2020. I feel like this is older than that, but what does that say? Effective. Oh, that's so yeah, Bitcoin is totally. I figured Bitcoin was closed. I mean Bitcoin. Bittrex. Poor old Bittrex bit the dust. I thought NMR was a ICO from 2017. It's funny that none of those exchanges have that much history. Yeah, see, this thing goes way back to here. So the upside still is 80 some bucks. So it doesn't have as much upside as the as many of these other ones, but nonetheless, looks like 80 bucks is the 85 or something is the old high. That's funny. I can't get right on it. Well, it seems like it's over 80. Anyway, I'm getting off topic here. Just go back to look at the Binance chart because it's a little cleaner. And I already said this, but look, just same old thing here. 61.8. 8.6 is where my bids are on that one. Nice W bottom. Looks good to me. I don't know. I feel like I guess I'm I don't know if I'm burnt out on doing this, but I've been the last few YouTube shows I've done, I feel like I'm struggling a little bit. Not in the content, not in what I'm saying, but how I'm saying it and like sort of my enthusiasm behind it, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't know. It's just all I can do is, again, just show you these where I'm putting my bids. I don't know what else to talk about other than just showing you exactly what I'm doing because it's really not that complicated. And I'm not trying to over analyze any of this. I think where I've felt like a little weird about YouTube and lately is like, I don't like as Bitcoin runs up into like all time highs. I don't like feeling like I have to like call the top or like somehow say something amazing that everybody's gonna or just like I just don't do that really. It's funny, all I know how to do is stick to my guns here and say, well, I think that we had the accumulation year all last year like I had anticipated, and like we basically displayed in 60 plus shows on Sundays, Paul and I just going through the same thing every week. And now nothing's really changed here. It's just we're sort of at a place where the kind of euphoric feelings started coming in a little bit. Now, to be fair, not with the general public, but just the people that are around. Like things are getting a little bit like frothy lately. The bragging has taken on, I mean, even caught myself sort of doing that, which is a little bit out of my nature, just trying, bragging a little bit too much about wins and stuff. That makes me feel uncomfortable, to be honest. And I kind of start disliking these periods of the market where things are just going parabolic. And, as much as I want to make money, it's hard for me to be a YouTuber during that shit because it's just not in my nature to be like a moon boy or even just try to be like a righteous top caller or whatever that means. So it becomes harder and harder for me to do this analysis. I don't know how to do it. All I know how to do is say, well, okay, well, the market ran up. Now it looks like it might be rolling over. This is the dip that I've been waiting for to reload. And now that the dip might be coming in, I'm going to make sure I have my bids working. And as boring as it sounds, they're just going to be at 61.8 and 78.6 and against previous weekly W breakouts. It's just really that simple. I'm not going to really... It's fun to talk about Power 3 or whatever, all these other ideas and concepts, but I don't really use any of that. So I'm just going to pull up, like this FXS, for example, is a great example. Zeke is not really a weekly W, but we'll look at that one too. But a better example, or this NMR, for example, just the W's are in, the bottom looks in. I'm going to buy the green box and maybe go underwater for a little while, maybe not. And ultimately probably bang out more doubles like, a few months down the road. And so there's that one. And like FXS is no different. Like you pull up FXS, even more pretty chart. Now I got a lucky wick on Kraken. So I got a double off on Kraken on this one. I'm not sure everybody in the group got doubles off on this move because it was kind of close. You had to be long kind of off the bottom. I was long from like 590, and yeah, like 590 didn't double here, but on Kraken it did. So I got kind of lucky on this one. It did hit my level a couple times, but point being, my bids are here, so I just prefer the Binance charts. Anyway, same thing. W's in. Nice weekly W here. In the old reload zone. From the W came in the previous reload zone. You could see 78.6 was where I was long from originally. And now I just have a bid here and a bid at basically my old level, which is I don't know what happened to my new fibs, but if I were to draw a fib from here, well, those aren't my levels. I think I just went and put the bid in here today right there because it was below my level anyway. So I think I maybe have gotten filled on that already. And then this one, I just went and put it a little bit above where I was long from anyway. Just because this one's already come all the way down. So 78.6 is right here where we basically have tagged $6.47. The W breakout's right here where, that seems like a nice level to me, just right where we're sitting, which is right where I put my bid. So this one's already buyable again. So yeah, I like that. Going back to the Binance chart, because I already had these all these levels drawn. Hopefully you can see that reload zones off the old. This is still the range. I mean, we still have the range lows and range highs here. So this reload zone is still very much still valid. Then we have a weekly W come in, and that breakout level's right at Mountain Man, 61.8. And then 78.6. Why does that other chart look so different? This is the one I drew my bids from because $6 here is my 78.6 level. That's funny. That's why Kraken charts are weird. Oh, because the high, that's right, because the wick shot up higher, so it threw off my... That's the thing about those Kraken charts. Like, of course, I trade there because I have to. I can't trade on Binance, so... But I usually look at Binance charts a lot as well, just because they're just more filled out, more trading happen. Nonetheless, there's even another little weekly W down here that's breaking out right there. So, I mean, that's also a nice level to work a bid, $6.14. I think my bid was at like 602 or something, the new bid I put. But man, this is another chart that just looks like oh, Capua 2 is C2. Shit. I was like FOMC 2? I just saw that in the chat. So Capua 2 is stable. Well, good. Now that you guys probably already got a full dose of like sensible analysis, now you can listen to my I don't know, maybe like a more like a I don't know. I'm not trying to complicate this. I'll just leave it at that again. I'm just like I'm not trying to make this complicated. I just I don't know if it makes for the best sensationalized YouTubing, but it certainly is a viable, plenty viable way to trade these altcoin cycles. And look at, I mean, this chart looks like an amazing bottom. I don't know, like if I could go buy right here and probably do great. I'm not saying do it or don't, but I've said a lot that I like to buy previous weekly W breakouts in reload zones, and I would be not following my plan if I didn't buy this here. Now, keep in mind, I'm not really getting into fundamentals, or I know that people that like this name, FXS, I'm not really gonna get into that. I mean, I'm sort of a buy a little bit of everything kind of person, and just hopefully I'll catch some of the really good ones along the way, and then I will probably get free positions at a minimum on most of these other ones, and probably way more than that. So I'm just not gonna. I'm too old and tired to care. So I'm just gonna do what I learned how to do, which is just buy weekly W's in reload zones. And this is one. This is a perfect one. And I mean, if we go back to 38.2s, that's $20 and it's $7 here. So not as much upside as some of these, but this is a newer name and can easily go to new highs. So like, I don't know. I don't see any reason why this couldn't make new highs down the road, but just using 38.2 as like a nice conservative target, that's a 3x. It's not bad. I think that's probably like, now if you're going to try to snipe the market more or be more proactive about your choices, and I don't know, maybe you don't hunt things that, maybe you look for things that have bigger moves back to 38.2. I don't know. But I'm just going to kind of go through the ones that I know about, and I'm going to buy them all. I'll take a 1% basically on each one and nibbling my way into that, and probably won't get filled on everything. So I don't think I'll max out my dry powder. That's the thing I was thinking about today, is like, I kind of have more money to spend than I thought I was going to have, to be honest. So now I'm like, well, I want to make sure I'm allocating these, because it was pretty fruitful last 4 or 5 months. So, depending on your situation, everybody's different, but I'm leaning a little bit towards, more 61.8 purchases, for example, than I might have if I was already fully loaded. So, FXS, buying that one. What else do I have here? Look at there's the SPY ticking to new highs here. The Fed's not going to lower interest rates. Like the SPY just broke out. It gapped up this week, and it's making a new high. NASDAQ's not making a new high, but certainly uppy after the news. Even Bitcoin's 3-bar fractals getting bought up pretty good so far this week. And actually the Russell, now I totally just went on a tangent or distracted tangent, but who cares? Because I've been talking about the Russell breaking this range. And actually, if this thing keeps, I do think a small cap stock market rally might be sort of on the table. And the more this stays above the red line here and starts maybe trending higher, the more likely I'll go buy small cap stocks. And then that reminded me that today, like for whatever reason, crypto stocks are looking pretty good. Like, you know, even though the crypto market's sort of rolling over, I started noticing like where's my stocks here? Or that's the wrong list, but well, some of them are in here. Like look at this. Like these are like CLSK is up 18% today. Mars up 14%. That's another bit F is these are all crypto. Well, most of these are crypto stocks. Yeah, all of these are. Wolf is up 30%. Damn, I didn't get refilled on Wolf, did I? I bought it here and got a double and then didn't. Yeah, I'm already on my potential third car here. So actually, I mean, same rules apply here too. Um, you know, like this shit. I bought this one here, got a double here, or bought it here, got a double here, bought it again here, got a double, didn't get another fill. So we'll see what happens. But for whatever reason, these things are all these crypto stocks look kind of uppy today. I don't know, which, it just annoys me. This fucking can, damn it. I mean, it's still, this one I had bids working on some call options yesterday. This thing was like down against the lows and my bids were a little too cheap. And now it's up 25%. But this is another crypto stock that I guess I'm talking about crypto stocks now, but I mean, hell, sure, it's up 25% here, but I mean, buying against the lows here. This one has, look at all the upside on this thing from $1 or $2 up to $15 to 38.2. So, nice big move here. I was kind of hunting, I don't want to, well, a friend of mine and I are working on these. I don't want to give away any of his ideas either, but I'll just leave it at this. We're hunting out of the money calls on longer dated. Like this one has calls going all the way out to January 2026. So, I mean, if Bitcoin, you know, if you can buy those cheaply out to January of 2026 and Bitcoin can rip between now and then, this thing could vastly, the calls on this thing could vastly outperform crypto in general. Now, to be fair, there's a little bit of added risk here. This is like a Bitcoin mining company or hardware. They make hardware for Bitcoin mining, ASIC miners, and they also make like these sort of like storage container mining facility things. And I don't know. I haven't really researched the company that much, but my friend has, and it looks pretty good. But there is some different risks associated with these kind of trades. Like if you buy calls on this thing going out to January 2026 and then it reverse splits or something in between, then you're probably going to get your trade's probably going to get boogered up. So just keep that in mind with that kind of idea here. So it's like, yeah, I want to take these trades, but I'm fully understanding that sometime between now and the next year and a half or so, if this thing decides to reverse split, those calls are going to become like, they sort of adjust the calls for the reverse split. And every time that's ever happened to me, it's been a losing trade. I don't know. Maybe they often, that just me personally, that usually doesn't work out very well. So there's those kind of risks that go along with these stock purchases, options purchases. And of course, reverse splits in themselves can be a little bit of a drag on stocks if depending on the situation. Sometimes they pump right after the split, but point being, even if you just go buy the stock here down against the lows here, maybe not today, let it pull back a little bit. I don't know. But I mean, it's, you know, it's funny. It's up 24% today, but it's still way down against the lows. And, you know, tons of upside here. So. Dalmoody's saying, is it really worth buying calls versus the stock itself? I mean, have you ever seen how I mean, yeah, I mean, now maybe, hell, you could buy both. You could buy the stock and then sell calls if you want and do a covered call strategy. I suppose that's like totally viable. But I mean, yeah, if this thing I mean, if you have or let's just put it this way. Say you had a $4 call on this thing and it goes to $15. That's going to outperform the stock. So I'm not saying one's better than the other, but the thing about options is they do outperform the underlying asset, especially in crazy volatile moves. They just come with additional risks. Hell, Wall Street Bets, they'd fucking laugh us out of the place if we said we were buying the stock. I'm just kidding. I do enjoy some Wall Street Bets Redditing from time to time. Those people are hilarious. But man, they love calls. Well, they love options in general, not just calls. Anyway, fucking hell. Lots of uppiness in crypto stocks. So I got off on a tangent here, but these are mostly all crypto stocks in this list. Maybe all of them even. I can't remember what IREN is, but why are these things ripping so hard today when Bitcoin's not really? That's fascinating to me, but kind of annoyed about this can because I was a little too cheap on the ones that I bet you they already doubled today. The calls I was hunting. I wouldn't be surprised if they doubled today in that move. But man, I mean, I have bought. Now I'm getting off on a tangent, but I've bought some of these lately. Like this SDIG is one that I think is interesting. Down against the lows here, I bought it. You know, I'm a little underwater on my purchase. So there's one that I've bought down against the lows. SAI is another crypto stock that I've bought down against the lows recently. It's not in this particular list, but you could see that one's just not really weekly W's or anything. I'm just kind of nibbling here, looking for these to move higher into the crypto cycle. There's one SLNH. I haven't bought this one yet, but I'm interested in this one. SLNH, same thing. Looks like I had an alert on it, but I don't think I bought it. So anyway, a little off on a tangent there, but look at that wolf up 31%. I don't know, man. There's still a lot of... I mean, there's still a lot of support behind crypto dips, I would say. You know, we'll be lucky if we get... well, I don't want to say that. I hate saying that. I don't know. We'll probably get the dips we want. It's just if you don't step up and do something about it, you'll probably miss it. That's all I could say. I don't know. Oh, what? Oh yeah, Maps. That's your old weed stock, Moody. Yeah, you're saying because calls are time based. Yeah, for sure. There's additional risk with options because yeah, they're time based for sure. But that's the thing. That's why I like trading them on. We'll look at your maps too, because I remember that stock from a while back. I want to see what it looks like. But wait, what? My computer just froze up. The hell? I think it's actually my keyboard. I have some cheap ass like eBay keyboard because I like it. It's like tiny, but it's been kind of wow. It's like tripping right now. Yeah, like I remember us talking about maps here a while back. A nice W, and then now we're just all the way back down against 78.6. I mean, yeah. Doesn't look bad, that's for sure. Oh, but what I was saying about calls is, I mean, I'm more focused on crypto stocks with calls because I think the time, I think you can make well, I think we're going into a Bitcoin halving cycle bull run, and so it makes timing your calls a little bit more reasonable to me because I have a good reason to think that crypto is going to pump like before January of 2026, for example. So if I can buy calls on these crypto stocks with that much time, I think if there's going to be a crypto bull market, it's likely to happen before January of 2026. So that gives me a nice window of opportunity to work from. And like, you know, something like that if I have till 2026 and if crypto goes into a rip and bull, then I could see these things, you know, I could see 100xers. I mean, I missed out on 100xer on Riot last cycle. And to be fair, I still got like more than a 10x, but I sold too early. I had calls off the bottom on Riot, and they turned into it was like it ended up being like 150x, I think, to the actual highs of the call. And I had to watch that the whole bull market. I just sat there watching them go up every day. And that was after still banging out like a 10x on it and being like, and being mad about a 10x. So, that I mean, you don't see me talk about options a lot lately. I don't trade options very often, but I have a very straightforward, simple plan just with crypto stocks. Trade options. I'm not even hunting options on anything else. It's just and that one was one that I've highlighted as a possibility based on the fact it seems like there's a lot of options activity on it already. The problem with like Riot and stuff is the options, they're more expensive, so you know it's they're a little more pricey. That's what you felt about selling Hex early. Yeah. Well, it's always painful to have to watch it's sort of painful to watch a trade go without you when you're in it already. You could argue that's worse than I'd rather get stopped out on a trade than actually have one rip without me that I fucked up or not, whatever fucked up. I mean, the problem with options too is targets become more difficult too. That's another issue. Is it becomes exiting options trades. You know, it's good to work like usually I'll like sell 2/3 on a double so that I get some profit because it's pretty painful to like say say you sell half on a double, like it's really common for the free position to go to zero. So like I'll typically sell 2/3 so that I at least make a little bit of money. And then exiting your last one is hard. I mean, that's the thing is like if you're in, say you were in this one and the price is ripping up and you only had like one left, for example, I don't know. Hopefully you don't, maybe, ideally you'd have more than one left so you could piece them out a bit, but it's trickier to know when to exit. I'll say that. Picking your targets are a little more difficult because they can move a lot in the same day, like anyhow, what the hell? Somehow I've still managed to talk for an hour and 15 minutes. Where do I go next? Oh, I was gonna look at EWT. Alex, yeah, you guys tell me what to buy for a change, and I'll buy what you guys say to buy. I swear EWT isn't my favorite. Damn, this one didn't work out that well for me in the past, and I don't have any now. Oh, that's a nice W though. Energy Web. I remember this. I was a little late to the party on this one. I don't remember where I was. I guess that was 2021. I feel like maybe I was in there buying it here against these reload zones. Then I got kicked off Qcoin and stuff, and I don't have any. I just liquidated it. But now it looks way better now. I suppose the W is not really confirmed. I mean, we did tick through a little bit, so I don't know. It looks pretty good. I mean, it's definitely buyable if you want to take a nibble. I don't see any reason why somebody wouldn't. I guess OBV's still making lower highs technically. Maybe have a little bit of a potential W coming in, but OBV hasn't truly bottomed yet. RSI, same kind of thing. But I mean, nonetheless, this one, I feel like I'm on. I don't know if there's more history. I feel like this is older than 2020, but maybe not. I was sort of trying to think about this with the new people that I help learn to trade. like when you're looking at something like this, technically it's making lower lows. We have a new low established, and now we have like the first beginnings of a W. So I think waiting for W's is always prudent here. But because we don't have like an old cycle to draw reload zones off of, you're sort of drifting here. So you have to have something in your plan to kind of keep you from entering too early. And I think a solid W would be one good way. And so I don't know if that's a solid W. It's definitely, I mean, it definitely ticked through and made the W. So that's a good start. But maybe like moving averages work for this too. Like, I don't know if I have any moving averages on here. I guess I do. Like you could start waiting for the 1330 cross to at least give you, just giving you some sort of idea that the trend is actually ready to turn back up as opposed to just making a new lower low. Because we don't have any sort of previous cycle range to work with. But I mean, Alex, you already know this anyway, and I'm sure you already have your plan in order. But nice W, totally buyable. Whether it bottoms right here and turns, I don't know. It hasn't really performed that well lately, while other things were. So maybe it's not like the next shiniest hot thing, but still looks pretty good to me. Never a bad idea to let the W break out and maybe get a weekly close above the W and then buy a pullback. That's also a viable strategy. It's a little more conservative and totally valid. Nibbles right here seem to make sense if you're willing to just take your nibbles and wait. I mean, you buy right here at 240 and your double level's not that, you could sell on a double up here against these highs. Sounds pretty good. I don't like that it hasn't performed that well lately. Doesn't seem to have done much. Yeah, Dalmoody was saying Chico Crypto like CWT. Yes, yeah, I remember that from the past. And is that guy even still active? I don't really hear from Crypto Chico or Chico Crypto, whichever way he says it. I don't really see him around much these days. He's pretty likable dude. And to be fair, I don't watch too many YouTubers. I don't really spend that much time doing that. Anybody else got anything good? Chico is probably EWT CEO by now. Yeah. I do remember that guy. I mean, well, that's a whole other thing. I think he's done pretty well for himself as a YouTuber. Way better at YouTubing than me. He also has probably bigger muscles than me. He's kind of a muscular guy. He likes to go on camera and be beachside. Hell, maybe you can tell by my my YouTube stylings, but I am not making money on YouTube like Crypto Chico. In fact, the difference between him and I is the difference between 0 and however much he makes. So I mean, I'm doing my best, but I'm also getting paid for my work here, and that's a nice healthy 0. I've never made a penny on YouTube. But hopefully I've helped somebody else make at least a penny from at least one of my calls every once in a while. Anyway, like maybe you guys have some other names I can look at. Otherwise, I could pick some more. I mean, I don't know. It's a funny time right now. It's like, again, have your bids working, but I'm not going to go out and like say, like, sure, that EWT is buyable right now for sure, but I don't think you should buy it expecting it to go straight up from here. Like, it's not the right time here. We have a little bit of cleanup that has to happen, I would say, right? In crypto, it seems like there's probably going to be some cleanup coming up here, and that's going to probably knock a name like this down deeper because this thing's like hanging on by a thread already. So if the whole broader market falls apart here, then this will probably come down lower. So it's like, yeah, take your nibbles, but I don't think you should expect much out of this thing right away. I mean, we got to see things like let's look at Solana really quick. And I mean, Solana kind of made a crazy move here up into 78.6 and got rejected. And so, I mean, something like this kind of needs to clean up a little bit. I mean, there's like a potential bearish divergence in RSI here on the weekly chart. Daily chart has confirmed 3-bar fractal. Not really broken, though. I mean, RSI doesn't look that broken. I mean, if anything, RSI could pop up again and then roll over. But point being is it looks like this stuff needs to be cleaned up. And what happens if Solana dumps down to 38.2 at 132 bucks? That would probably mean the general market's probably pulling back too. And I bet something like that EWT is going to get hit pretty hard. So it's like, it's okay to be nibbling in there, but I just wouldn't expect too much right away. I don't know. I think we probably need a little bit of cleanup here before the bull resumes. Except for these crypto stocks, I almost feel like these stocks are sort of like foretelling the strength in the market as far as crypto goes. Like, why are they up so much today? That's surprising to me. Kind of a bummer if you're trying to buy them. There are some of these names I would like to be able to buy. Talking about Solana, it did remind me that I wanted to mention WIF because I had said, you know, as long as WIF was charging higher here, I figured the Solana memes would be okay. And while it is getting bought up here today, that's a big old M. So I kind of pulled up this earlier and saw a big M here. And sure, it's like being bought up right here, and we didn't get like a solid close, but that's a daily M on this thing. Does look like it could roll over, so keep that in mind. And then I pulled up like Bonk and realized Bonk's already had an M. You know, Bonk's kind of falling apart here. So Solana memes, I'm not going to rush into. I took some nibbles this week, and we did pretty good on balls. Like a lot of the group did pretty good on that, on what's that, Slurf. I'm just sort of banging around at break even on Slurf. I didn't get in it early enough like the other guys did. I did pretty good on Sol Casino, though. That was one that I did, you know, this this isn't a meme, though, to be fair. This one's the, I mean, this is one of my, I don't know. I was telling everybody to buy this thing right here. Definitely the people in the group. And this thing's taken off here. This is the Sol Casino. It's like, it's not a meme. It's one of the, according to these guys here, they're one of the 5 biggest dApps on Solana. So that's about the extent of my fundamental analysis I did, was read this. And the same thing applies, you know, like I saw this little W right here, which was below 78.6 of the original range here. And then I didn't trade, excuse me. I didn't trade that move. But as price came down into that level, I mean, this is what I expect to happen. Like, even if you just think about this in the weekly charts I was just showing you, this is what I think we're in for. We're going to see this rollover down against the previous weekly W's. And then when price gets down into here, it'll bottom again. And then the real bull market will start in altcoins. This is what I think. I don't know. Like, I don't think we're in the bull market in altcoins yet. So even just that pattern alone, this is exactly what I'm anticipating happening for all those altcoins I was just talking about. And so you can see why, if I'm going to buy 61.8 and 78.6, just like nibble into these things, and then wait for this on the other end. And this one, I woke up yesterday and it was up about 3x. So I just sold half at 3x. Of course, I missed all of this overnight, that huge move. But I'll take what I can get. Of course, trading this kind of stuff, I didn't have a limit order working, so this, you know, becomes a little trickier to trade these if you're not using limit orders. I could have had a limit order working on Jupiter, but I didn't. Anyway, my main point I wanted to make is now there's an M in WIF and there's a M in Bonk. What's one of the other big ones? So I don't know, maybe Solana memes are cooling off a little bit, although there looks like a lot of green here right now. Like, I mean, Solama's been pretty, but they all dipped pretty far. Like even Solana, I don't know, like, yeah, I mean, it had fallen apart. So it's just kind of having a little bounce here, but even that's an M. So we have M's in Salama. That was a high flyer lately. When kind of fell apart here with an M. So when we have a bearish retest here. So let's see what happens as this gets up a little higher into the M. And if it rolls over again, then I think the party's probably over for Solana memes for the moment. Like, I think they'll have their chances again in the future, but it's, yeah, I think the whole market needs to cool off a little bit. It seems like it's like we're in the rollover period for right now. So I'm not really trying to rush into any of these. I nibbled on Sassy and it kind of fell apart. I nibbled here and then it kind of fell apart. And I reloaded like on this phony bird. I'm not expecting much, but I like this phony bird. It's pretty funny. I bought this yesterday about where it's sitting now. Had a really nice trade on the phony bird on the first move. And I bought one other thing. I bought Bretta. That was like a little while ago. Bretta, this one, yeah. Where did I buy Bretta? Yeah, this one's annoying. I bought this was kind of like a week ago, I guess, but I bought this. It doubled, didn't get my sell. This was while I was asleep, and then I woke up and it. This is the thing about. Oh, and then that's right. I did take another nibble right here. But man, that's what sucks about trading these things is, I swear this happens all the time. I didn't get my sell off. Anyway, not going to get into. Actually, we had some feedback recently, and I think maybe that we were getting a little bit too meme oriented, and I don't think that wasn't our intention, but we did note that feedback and just we'll be mindful of that. But I think one thing to understand is that's where the money was. Like, I mean, especially like in December of last year and of the last month or so. I mean, that's where the volatility was. That's where the money was. And like, I mean, that's where you could see moves that like Brett, for example. Where's Brett? I think I was just showing Brett. I mean, that thing went insane. So like, this is where those kind of moves were happening. That was from February 29th to March 10th. So in a couple weeks, if you could see these like sort of 50xers and stuff, then of course we're going to be interested in them. But the feedback was still super noted. And I think, we had a conversation yesterday with all the gladiators and we just reminded ourselves that like, I think the best approach is to just remind everybody that this is a specific type of trading, this kind of meme. It's like almost like scalping because the trades are so short, but then they're also you're not really using a stop. And it's like setups are a little messier and stuff. It is a messy kind of trading. And so you just have to sort of be careful with it. And we're not trying to go out and shill these names at all. We're just trying to take advantage of the volatility there. And we just reminded ourselves that I think the best approach is just to make sure that we're still also sharing all our other ideas. Because I think if the strengths, our best strength, like what we're best at as a group, I think is just trade ideas in general across all different types of trading. We have really good scalpers like Stefan and Paul, pretty much the best scalpers I've ever known, to be honest. And I do know a lot of professional traders. So like we have those guys scalping on like even lower time frames and then all the way up to weekly investments and everything in between. So I think we just try to not lose sight of making sure we're covering all the bases in our group and not going too far down one particular rabbit hole. Like we maybe went too far down the memes for a little while and that got a little messier because it's a little harder to frame trades in a way that people can follow along and stuff. So anyway, whoever gave that feedback specifically is very noted. We are trying our best to just kind of build the strongest community we can of traders too, of not YouTubers. That's the funny thing is I'm sitting here on YouTube probably making an ass of myself right now. We're trying to build a group of solid traders that I can benefit from, for example. Like it's like I don't want to be the only one hell, don't follow what I do. I want to be able to follow what, I'm trying to build a community of strong traders that I can also watch and learn from, and uh, not so much copy, but get trade ideas from. Every day we have trade ideas coming out of the group, and that's what we're focused on. So trying to stick to that and just I don't know, maybe not be the best YouTubers. That's okay with me. That said, I've spent a lot of time teaching people how to trade lately, and we do have our Capio One going, and I'm actually really proud of. I've put an awful lot of work into sort of rehashing the school for this term and improving it from the first session that we did. And it's like the same concepts, but I think I just maybe I'm doing a better job teaching it this time around, and I'm actually proud of it. And like, I actually think it's a good condensed way to teach trading. I've done my absolute best to boil it down to the most straightforward conversation about how to get executing trades like as quickly as possible, without using quickly as like, there's nothing quick about learning how to trade. So I don't want to suggest that it's like an overnight thing, but it's like, I think I've built a really strong foundation where in 3 months you could get executing trades and actually have a pretty good understanding of how to do it. And of course, you still got to do the work yourself. Like I've basically condensed the content down in a way, and I think I've structured it in a way that makes it very easy to understand, but you still got to do it yourself to actually get working. But the cool thing is we're sort of going to trade with you for, what ultimately is hopefully longer than a year, but the actual program itself is it's 3 months of like curriculum, and then 1 month of Paul and I actually reviewing your trades. But then there's 8 more months after that of you still just being a premium member and showing up every day. And of course you have access to, every day Paul sits in a live stream and he's just sitting there willing to answer questions, willing to go over trade ideas, willing to break down concepts. And so I think after a year, for sure, that's a hell of a lot of experience. But I think just in the first 4 months, I think there's everything you need to get started and actually be able to start executing, which really is the hardest part about trading. It's one thing to learn technical analysis. It's a whole other thing to be able to make money from it, or just to be able to implement a trading strategy where you're just taking trades and not getting caught up in like the sort of one individual loss kind of situation, or like, the emotional roller coaster of that trading can be. So I don't know. I'll just toot my own horn. I'm not saying anybody needs to go do it or don't do it, but I think I've done a pretty good job of building a solid trading course. So I don't know. I'm not even trying to sell it right now. I just am more just saying I'm kind of happy with it, actually. I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out. So anyway, fuck. I guess it's been an hour and a half. Does anybody have anything they want me to look at? Otherwise, I'll probably start winding this down for the most part. I could keep going over names, but I don't know. It's like they're all kind of the same. I'm going to post everyone that I'm bidding on in our room. So if you are in our premium group, then you'll see them anyway. And I'm going to just keep, keep throwing them in here. Like I was showing earlier, we got like our, we have the invest ideas room, which is sort of like our weekly chart kind of room, which is where I'm probably going to be the most active. And then we have our degen room. We did change some things a little bit. We just have our degen room, which is the Solana memes. And in an attempt to try to differentiate, that was what I was talking about earlier. It's like, we don't want to come off sounding like we're just like meme shills. However, we do want to keep trading these things because there's a lot of money to be made. So, we have this room, which is just basically open to everybody to discuss, sort of Solana shitcoins, or really anything. It seems like the base names are doing pretty well right now. So I want to go hunting there a little bit. I have one at the moment. I have a free position on ESAB. That's the only base network name I have. But point being, we have our degen room for that. We have our day trading room, which is for day trading and scalping setups. We have swing trading room for swing trading and invest ideas for investments. So, basically these 4 rooms are going to be populated with trade ideas, every day. And then we also have like Hand of Midas is a Thursday show for the premium members where Stefan and Bochan are basically just highlighting shiny new things. We're trying to identify up and coming names, things that are mostly on chain and have a good chance of banging out, multiple X's down the road. So, I'll be watching that closely to try to get in on newer things. And then, we have DeFi and airdrop. We have an airdrop room where we're talking about, I'm not in there that much, but everybody that's hunting airdrops are working in there. And we got the DeFi channel, which is also sort of like extension of that. Well, it's like the Hand of Midas a bit too. It's just like covering basically on-chain stuff with more of a fundamental approach as well, instead of just technical analysis. Whereas like these rooms up here, they're all going to be technical setups, like in all these rooms for the most part. DeFi gets a little bit more into like the weeds of what makes these protocols good and not good and stuff like that. And then we got NFTs too, which we're not really doing tons of work in NFTs, but we're trying our best. So we're just trying to round out all of crypto. So yeah, we might get a little heavy in the memes for a minute, but we are trying to build out every section of this of crypto where we have people working on each independent area, and hopefully at the end of the day we just all come together and all of us benefit from that. So this is kind of what our Discord room looks like if you're not in there. And if you are, if you want to be a free member, then it's just the chat is available to you, the general chat. And we do post a lot of ideas in here, like Paul's got a long on Bitcoin and some shorts here, which he's been highlighting since well before this one even got an entry. So like there are still trade ideas coming through in this chat room. Sometimes they're more on the investment end, but we do throw some like lower time frame trades in here. We don't do too much of that because we kind of want to know that how to trade before we dole out. Because as much as we like giving out trade ideas, we do expect everybody to have their risk management in under control and know how to frame the trades for themselves. So we don't post as many lower time frame ideas in the general chat. But if you're new to listening to me or anybody at Crypto Traders Arena, the best way to get started is just join our Discord and pop in this chat and say hi. And of course, you can ask any questions you want in here. And that reminds me, we also deleted our request room. And we're just going to direct requests to this room or the premium room. Like if you have something you want to look at, you can throw it in here and we'll look at it. So we deleted the request room. It wasn't really being used that much anyway, and we were just simplifying the channels a little bit. So anyway, I think I'm about talked out. I'm not seeing any real ideas from anybody in the chat. So I think I'll leave it at that. Like I said, I'll still just keep buying reload zones here going forward. I'm definitely a bull. Definitely a buy the dip bull, looking for deeper dips. Maybe I could pick one more just to end with from my list here that I didn't talk about. Like STG is kind of interesting, and maybe GRT as well, but I think GRT is still a little far away from entries. But this STG is kind of, I didn't get a double on this one already, but I'll end with this, go back to a weekly chart and just... I'm long off this W here. And you can see it's right in the middle of the reload zone. You can see OBV's pointing higher. We had OBV divergence on that move. And now with W's coming in, OBV's got a nice W. So just supporting the trade. Yeah, just another one that's in a green box. This is a little bit newer of an issue. I feel like it's older than August of 2022, but maybe it's not. Nonetheless, this is the kind of stuff I'm interested in, buying W's in green boxes, and I'll just keep on highlighting those as they come in. So I guess I'll leave it at that and wish everybody a good rest of your day. Happy FOMC day. No big changes on the interest rate front, and I wouldn't. I mean, I don't know. They said they're going to try to cut 3 times this year. I find that very hard to believe at this point, with the stock market making new highs and the economy essentially ripping. Seems like they need all that to cool off. So I don't really anticipate too many rate cuts at this point. I feel like if once they do cut rates, that'll probably be like a sell the news event anyway. So we'll see how that all works out. But all right, I'll just leave it at that. Have a good rest of the day. Maybe I'll see you in the New York session tomorrow. We do trade 5 days a week live during the New York session. And then actually now Paul too, I should mention Paul's also live streaming at the London session now for a little while, every day on YouTube. So if you're just on YouTube, check him out during that. He used to do a recorded video, but now he's just live streaming it and highlighting levels for the trading day. So check him out. And I'll just leave it at that. So take care, everyone, and have a good rest of your evening. Bye-bye.